Hi YouTube, welcome to my dorm. Come in. So, starting off, this is my closet. So I live in New York City. Just for some context about my choices, I'm also a junior and a pre-med, so constantly suffering. I don't need a ton of nice stuff, but I still like to dress up sometimes. So this is all stuff basically that I can't hang up, and also a lot of statement pieces like this guy, which is definitely not going to fit in any type of drawer comfortably. Then if you come over here, we kind of have my grab and go station. So for anything like I might need, like right as I'm running out the door. So when I wake up, I need to brush my teeth and wash my face. I have everything right here, as well as all my masks and whatnot. Then if you come down here and look into these drawers, we have more of like my shower stuff. So anything I need to grab and go then. I also keep my dish gloves here because if you get a close-up over here at some point, there are actually holes in each of the kind of compartments that make it easy for water to drip through and get clean. And then also I have my shower bag, conditioner, shampoo, all that. And then my pride and joy of this room, my beautiful platform shoes. Again, I live in New York City. I don't need that many heels, but I'm only 5 feet tall, so I like to look tall. So I have a lot of platforms, a lot of heels, and they are like my staple colors because I didn't want to overpack or anything like that. But I do have my sneakers, my shower flip-flops, which are like below $1. And if you take note here, there's something I have under my shoe rack, and that's actually used for dishes when they're wet so that it can absorb the water. But I put it under my shoe rack just in case I ever track in rain and stuff. I don't want it to get all over my room. So moving on to this next part, basically this is where I keep the bulk of like my accessories. So you'll see here there are cute little handbags, tote bags, a bag for my mom I refuse to give back to her. Then we have stuff from Macaulay, CUNY and stuff. And pro tip, that if you are a college student, enter every single giveaway you can because chances are you'll win them. But for the most part, this entire kind of like drawer set is just filled with like my clothes. So I have like my pants, any socks and stuff in here. Also like shirts that I can fold, so not like those big statement pieces. And also I keep my sweaters and like my crew necks in here just so they don't get like super stretched out. And then moving on to this guy. This is a fan that my family has had since before I was born, I think, in 2002. So she's still running. She's been running on high speed since I was born, so we're not getting rid of her anytime soon. And then, if we take a look over here, we'll see one of the first examples of how I have storage in basically like every part of my room. And so these hanging guys are really useful because they keep like important stuff at my eye level. So my skincare, I can't really miss it in the morning and forget about it because I literally wake up and this is one of the first things I see when I put on my glasses. So I have all that stuff here. This is like everyday stuff, like moisturizers, deodorant, kind of like the acids I use whenever, and also sunscreen, which is very important. This guy over here is actually more like not really important stuff, but it is a book set called Heartstopper my friend lent me, which I need to give back. But I love this guy, who's also storage, but also a part of my family at this point. His name is Booth, which is Bengali for ghost, and I love him. Inside here is just like a bunch of knickknacks. This guy is actually a little like tchotchke my friend got me from Japan because she thinks that this lion's hair is like my hair. So yeah. But then I also just have kind of like a couple baubles in here, so like really big chunky earrings. And this is good because I can keep all my like little knickknacks that might be easy to lose, so like jewelry and stuff in here, and I know where they all are. Another example of something that has two purposes in my bedroom is that I have this ottoman, and so 2 people can reliably sit on it, and realistically 3 could, but only 2 are going to be sitting on it at a time, if 2 at all. But the main thing is that this acts as storage for dry foods and stuff, and this is really important, especially when you're in college, because if you leave anything out kind of to the elements, one, it could go bad really quickly, or creatures could get to it, and we live in New York City, so that's always a possibility, given the native flora and fauna. So some of the stuff I have in here is macaroni, dried up granola bars, snacks, biscuits I have for my job, just kind of like other dried goods, things like that. And then I also keep some of my like cooking items in here. So I have a rice cooker in here, which is very useful for things other than rice as well as my blender. So moving on to the more like kitchenette area, I do keep some food here, but most of the stuff is like little gadgets and things I need to use to cook. But as I mentioned before, I use these floating shelves to kind of remember things I need to take every day. So this one is full of kind of like all the vitamins I need if I ever need Tylenol. But I can also see these pretty quickly in the morning and like remember I need to grab a couple of them. Then moving on, I have some of my like dry foods here as well, like oatmeal, protein powder, soy sauce, honey, etc. I also have pie, which I love. But this is my mini fridge for college. And like any other college student, I think you know the qualms of mini fridges is like you play Tetris with them constantly. So this is actually pretty empty for what I usually keep, just because I am a person who gets like peckish really quick. But this is the refrigerator section. You can literally ignore everything except for this part because this is the most important thing I have bought in college so far. And it is a water filter dispenser that you can shove in your fridge because I actually have a pitcher that's a water filter, but the thing is that it's really inconvenient sometimes because the kitchen is so far, and also, like, it doesn't fit in my fridge. So, similar to a Brita filter, which I've also realized doesn't fit in my mini fridge, I can't get my water cool enough to my liking, so having this dispenser is just really, really beneficial. Then we have kind of just more storage and stuff for things I might use, so my tea kettle is a necessity for Ja and things like that. I also have kind of like everything I would need to eat with rather than actually eat. So like kind of my cutlery, plates and stuff. In here, it's more of the same. And I do actually have like paper plates and bowls just in case I ever get lazy because like as college students, realistically, we're not always going to be on top of things. And sometimes we're also just too busy to wash dishes. So it's very easy to keep this kind of stuff in just in case. I also tend to keep my sugar in here because I don't want this open to the air at any point in case it attracts bugs or any critters like that. So it is in here where it is safe and sound along with some other cutlery items. Then if you look below here, this is just even more storage. I have a lot of cleaning stuff in here. So my wipes, vacuums in there. I think my clothing iron's in there honestly as well, and some Tupperware. And also, this is really good for college students as well. If you buy like a giant party pack full of napkins, they're a lot easier to keep in your room than say like a paper roll or anything like that. And they're pretty cheap, all things considered. I think I actually got this for like $2 at most. So this is my desk area. This is where I spend a great deal of time just doing random stuff. And not as much studying as you would think, or as I should be doing. But basically, starting over here, I kind of have my basic necessities. So my lights over there, as well as kind of any pencils, pens, markers I might need, along with some Vaseline and a humidifier, which is extremely adorable. Then I also, of course, have my laptop courtesy of my school. So thank you to my program for giving me this, even though I low-key despise Macs, but that's a different video. Now, I think one of the most important things to touch on, because I am kind of like, just like a student influencer. I'm not really an influencer, but I post a lot about being a student. So I have two ways that I get organized. Starting with the big one is that I have a desk calendar. She is atrocious. But she is also where I put basically any major dates, deadlines, exams, and stuff like that. And also as like an RA, I put whenever I have a duty or like, you know, days off, things like that. And I do actually need to update her. And you'll see there's a lot of just like miscellaneous spills on her. But the good thing about having a desk calendar like this is it doesn't have to be perfect. I only put like the major events and things like this on there. But that being said, here's where I put all my detail-oriented stuff, my daily planner. So she's kind of like a bullet journal type thing, but not really because she does have like lines and stuff where specific dates. But basically, this planner is just really beneficial because it's compact enough that I can carry it everywhere and also organized enough that I can actually understand what I'm writing down instead of just like a regular bullet journal where I would kind of just write down stuff and not really grasp what I was putting down or understand why I wrote it down. But yeah, this planner took me up until my junior year of college to literally find, but I would consider this to be like my perfect planner. And it's available on Amazon in my Amazon storefront. But then we have my plant corner. So this guy right here, the love of my life, her name is Bacha Bundia. If you're Bengali, you know what that means. If you're not, Bacha basically means child or little kid. Bundia is a type of sweet, which we'll probably insert an image of right here. Looks very alike based on the shape. But the reason she's called Bacha Bundia is because if you live in New York, at one point in September, there was a heat wave for 2 or 3 days. And following that heat wave was an intense rainstorm for like 2 or 3 days. And these string of pearl plants are really temperamental and picky. So I had a bigger bundia, and she decided to die on me. She's up here. We don't talk about her often, but she's doing better now. There's some growth, but she still depresses me to talk about. But Bacha Bundia was basically purchased because my friends were so worried about my lack of serotonin that they made me go get another one. And then I have this plant as well. She is a cornflower plant, I believe. I actually thought she was a snake plant when I first bought her, but I completely misread the label. But I already named her Shop Maya after my sister, and Shop means snake. And the name is just so fitting that I refuse to change it. So she's Shop Maya. And then I have a couple more just comfort items over here. I have a scented candle, which I'll probably never light, as long with a Yankee Candle air freshener type thing. And my mirror, because I am vain. Alright. So, starting off with like the first of my storage on my actual desk that was built in, this is basically all the makeup I use for school. And if you've watched my TikTok or my Instagram Reels, you'll know that I do a lot of graphic eyeliner looks or like makeup looks in general. And there's a lot of color involved, but realistically, I'm only using colors like this at school if I put on makeup at all because I'm pretty lazy. I just feel like, I don't know, in school and stuff, I don't necessarily need the most color, even if I am going to be doing my makeup, because half the time I barely do makeup. But something I do think is really important, especially when you're on a budget, like when you're in college and stuff, is to recognize that if something doesn't work for one part of your face, you should try to maneuver it in a way that you can use it for other parts of your face. So like this lip tint doesn't work on my lips, but it makes a really good liquid blush. But yeah, this is not a makeup video, so I won't bore you guys to death with that. But as for my other storages, like these drawers are kind of just like nonsense filled. This is just like a bunch of random school stuff. And this is where I just keep like command hooks and like kind of like fun tack, because I have a lot of stuff up on my walls, as you can tell. So it's better to be safe rather than sorry in case anything falls down. Okay, that was supposed to be far more graceful, but anyways. This is my bed. It's pretty self-explanatory, but for decorations, it's one of the parts of my room I'm most proud about. I did this part during a major heat wave in New York, like that 1 week in August where it was like 97 degrees every single day. And like a lot of my other decor pieces in my room, this stuff is from Amazon. The vines are from Amazon. They're all linked in my Amazon storefront if you are curious about them. But I really like the fact that when I put them up, I only added like 2 places where I taped them to the wall. That means some of them are lifting a little bit, but it adds like this kind of weird texture to my wall that makes it more 3-dimensional, but it's still very aesthetically pleasing. Then this lamp is actually a gift my parents got for when they moved into the house that I grew up in. They were actually going to throw it out, but I told them if they threw it out, I would disown myself. So now it is in my room, and I think it gives the room like a nice cozy vintage vibe. And then on my bed at all times, I have this sleeping mask, and it actually is like weighted, so there are beads in it. You can actually microwave it to make it warm and stuff, and it's really helpful when I'm going to sleep because I live in New York City. Obviously, I'm right near a highway by where my dorm is, really. And so it's nice to at least be able to block out light and stuff if I can't block out sound. But honestly, the city sound is kind of like white noise to me. But yeah, that's pretty much my room in a nutshell. Alright guys, well, that was my first YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. If you have any comments or recommendations, please let me know. As I said, it is my first time filming a video. Also, major thank you to my good friend Justin who actually filmed this video. It really, really means a lot, and he is phenomenal. So I'm also going to leave some links to his socials here along with some of mine, even though I assume you probably came from my other social videos. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!